Prostate disease is a very common thing that affects many men. Of course, people will worry most about prostate cancer because of the horror stories that many have experienced with that, and that's a concern. But what we're talking about today is mostly not prostate cancer, but benign prostate disease. This is not as dangerous, but it is far more common. This is a diagram as though we are looking at a cross-section of the body from the front. So this is like the body cut this way. So the bladder is up here, the prostate sits right below it and wraps itself around this tube, which is called the urethra. That is the tube that empties the bladder. And then this right here represents the voluntary pelvic floor muscles that keep you from emptying your bladder. The difference between men and women, though, is the prostate surrounds the urethra right below the bladder. As men grow older, however, the prostate tends to increase in size. It increases by growing more cells than it had before. That's called hyperplasia. And as the prostate gets bigger, it gets bigger this direction, but because the urethra goes through the middle of it, it will often tends to get bigger this way too. So what that does is it makes this tube a little bit thinner so that the diameter of the urethra through the prostate decreases. And you don't have to decrease the diameter of a pipe by very much to dramatically increase its resistance. So as this begins to happen, the urine flow out of the bladder through the prostate is significantly decreased. So in order to empty the bladder from, let's say, this volume down to that volume, takes longer to be able to do that. And the urine flow is slower when it comes out of the end of the urethra. So this is why men, as they grow older, many times take longer to empty their bladder. Additionally, as the prostate gets bigger, it may not empty as well. And so a larger amount of urine remains in the bladder, so it takes less time to fill up again to the point where it needs to feel like it's going to empty again. As a result, then this also produces increased frequency of urination. And that can sometimes cause problems because then not only is urine flow slow, but it also is inconveniently frequent. And that's a particularly bothersome problem if it happens during the night. Men may have to get up 2 or 3 or even 4 or 5 times in order to empty their bladder. I hope that you have found this helpful. We invite you to investigate and watch our other learning modules and check out the rest of our website, healthcare.health. Thank you for your attention.